Oh yes. Again, back in your life within 24 hours of my last video. Shout out to my last video. I got more questions for you couples. Go on and, yeah, you know what to do. Go check that video out, and don't you ever forget to drop a comment. I know what you're looking at. Yeah, you didn't expect to see me so soon, did you? Yeah. How do you feel about my work ethic now? You thought it was a game? Yeah, I'm on your head. Whop! Even when you don't think I'm on your head, I'm still on your head. Whop! Don't you ever forget. Don't you ever question my work ethic. Yeah, every time you think that I'm not working, just because you don't see me working, that don't mean I'm not working. Oh, but guess what? I got time today, kids. Yep, and I already know what you're thinking. You don't even got to say it. I look like the video game final boss, don't I? I look like the executive vice president of the Western District, don't I? I look like you better have those papers on my desk by Thursday, or me and you are going to have a discussion. There will be consequences and repercussions. Don't you fail me. Don't you let me down. Let's do this. Let's get straight into this content. Let's talk about it then, huh?
East Side children trying to navigate our way through life with no good advice given.
Check this out. Not too long ago, I linked up with a pretty good friend of mine. He goes by the name of Gregory Blain, guitarist. See, I met him through, well, one day I just went to this restaurant. Him and his brother Hunter were playing guitar and just, serenading the mood while everybody was eating pies, eating cheesecakes, eating their food at the restaurant. I'll link up with them after they get off stage, get to talking to them, and we've had jam sessions in the past. Jam sessions in the past. Linked up them, me and Ian had a one-on-one jam session. One day we went to the University of Texas of the Permian Basin, UTPB. Shout out to that school in Odessa, Texas. This actually was a while back. So I just decided, to shoot this video or to upload this video because the audio, I think you're going to like it. What happened was he rents a room, one of those little dorm rooms where it was just he rents out a conference room. That's what he did. So he was waiting on me with a guitar. I walk in and he says, you know what you should do? You should freestyle something. And I'm like, okay. So I freestyled a poem just right there. He said he'll just follow me up with the melody, and this is what came out of it. So be sure to subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to survive. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, but you already seen a couple of my previous videos, okay, well, you already know you like my channel. What are you waiting for? A sign from the universe? All right, well, let me give you a sign from the universe. Good evening to the universe. This is me, Syndicate the Lonely Gun, in a royal blue shirt, a purple square tie, and a black blazer, a black sport coat, looking you dead in the face, telling you, hello. This is a message from the universe telling you that it's time for you to subscribe to survive. Now, I hope y'all like this poem. It's not a song. Oh, it's not a song. It's a poem from me, freestyle, with Gregory Blain. He freestyles the melody, and we just had fun along the way. It was so much fun. This title is called The Crying Lake. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Syndicate the Lonely Gun, also known as Teray Harris, and I approve this message. Peace, love, and turkey legs.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so mysterious woman. She is just lost her cousin, very close to her, extremely close to her. They say it's a freak accident that happened. Unfortunate. Her cousin died an unfortunate, untimely death. And of course, just like nature says, certain people who are very close to the person affected, they're naturally gonna blame themselves for the death of someone close to them. So this girl, this woman, she comes from the funeral. Like I said, she She just takes like 3 days off work to try to piece herself back together slowly, because she thinks that, she was told as a child that time heals all wounds, but in this rare occasion, time doesn't. So she asks herself, how much time does it take to heal this wound? So she goes soul searching. She ends up at a place that's very familiar to her since childhood. She used to run away by herself to this special place. It's just a lake. It's a strange lake with no animals. Like no butterflies, no insects, no ladybugs, no birds. But most of all, there are no people, no human beings to interact with at this lake. She wants to be completely alone to find herself. She would often do this as a child. But now, she's an adult with new problems, new responsibilities, and new reasons to cry. This is her place. The reason that this place is so special to her is because, well, as a child, she was constantly taught by her father to be strong, never cry. She was raised by a single father. Her mom skipped out on her when she was very young. Just, tried to give her up for adoption, but her father later found her. Didn't work out between the parents. Well, she found out that her mom was dead, passed away. That was several years ago. So she's had abandonment issues ever since a child. She wasn't as close as can be with her dad, but they managed. She never went hungry. She didn't have the best plate or the best food. She didn't have the best network of friends, the best type of people in her family. They're very low life. So all she really ever had in her whole life was her dad. Her dad and her cousin. That single father raised her and his nephew, which was her cousin, in one household, very small household. So of course she grew up to look at this cousin of hers as a brother. Well, this cousin, let's say, he just dies, natural causes, very untimely. He's not even 23 years old. Wasn't killed, he was just natural causes. Let's say leukemia. Dies of leukemia. Rapid spreading disease, unfortunately took a hold over his entire body. It took its toll on him until till one day he just didn't wake up. That's the worst death that you could ever die. To not have time to reconnect with your family, someone that you might have held a grudge against for so many years, to just get it together, At least when you're recovering from bullet wounds or stab wounds, you know that life is fragile, life is short. You have a limited amount of time to call someone, reach out to someone when you're in your hospital bed, but when you've been sent to a coma by leukemia or just some rapid spreading disease, you just fall asleep. You're unresponsive. Maybe you can hear. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe you can hear people when they talk to you, but you can't respond. So I say that the worst death that you could ever die is in your sleep. You can't talk to anyone. You don't know exactly how long your life is going to be. Don't know how long you're going to be around. All you know is that you are alive, but you don't feel alive. So the moments that you spend with your family are very important for that reason, because life is so short, life is so fragile. So the moments that she spent with her cousin, she cherished it. The moments that she spent with her father, even though they didn't have the best relationship, had their ups and downs, she grew up to appreciate everything that he taught her. The only thing that he never allowed her to do in his household was to just be a girl, be a female, be a woman, and cry. Let it out. She never saw him cry. So it's understandable that, when you hold something in for so long, it's eventually got to come out. She lost her dad before she lost her cousin. He died of a stroke about a year and a half before her cousin did. When they did the autopsy on him, they couldn't see any physical wounds or injuries. But you could tell that he's been under a lot of stress. Secret stress that she never knew about. So somehow it created a slight tumor in his brain. But before the tumor could explode, or before the tumor could take over, it was just one stroke. And when strokes come, they don't warn. There is no warning, it just happens. And then you're just gone, or you're sent to a coma. So she has a flashback of, being around her dad. He died instantly from that stroke. You skip forth a year and a half, and remember being raised in that same household where your father constantly teaches you don't cry. She looks at how her cousin passed away, leukemia, but she's not sure if it was leukemia or not. Maybe it was the same affliction that unfortunately occurred with her father. So now she's at her special place, her hiding place that no one knows about. Not her friends, not her cousins, not her family. She's only taken her cousin to the special place one time ever. She had plans to take him there again, because they went there as children. But here she is now at the Crying Lake. Yeah. Let's call it the Crying Lake. This is where she would secretly go to pour out her emotions, to release all of her fears, all of her anger, all of her sadness, even her happiness. She would release this at the lake that she just found one day. She happened to be riding a bike or walking around, and there it was. No one around. Such a beautiful spectacle. No one there to view it, no one there to behold it. This mysterious crying lake and all of its majesty. What a shame, what a shame that she's the only one. The place is so beautiful that you don't even want to take a picture of it. And it's not that the place is beautiful to either you or my own standards. It's beautiful because of her perception. It might be ugly to you and I, but to her, it's an escape because no one's around to judge her, to tell her she's not good enough. Most of all, to tell her what she can and can't do with her own mind or her own emotions. Don't cry. Don't do this. Don't do that. She can just be herself. So she would pour it out. She would just cry. But But today was a different day. For the longest time, she took 3 days off of work so that she could cry. But every time she hears her father's voice, don't cry. So much that she can't cry even though she wants to. So when she was at the house, she couldn't. So now she's back at this crying lake that she hasn't been to for several months. She walks several circles around this lake. Not a tear comes out. Her face is puffy. She tries to force it out. It doesn't come out. No one's around. She's wondering why she can't cry. Well, she's just walking. She's looking at the sidewalk. Just wondering where it all went wrong. And why couldn't she take her cousin's place? Why couldn't she, end her legacy in the place of her favorite cousin? She looks up. There's someone looking at her, walking her way. She nearly bumped into the person, which is very strange because she has never seen anyone or never had to interact with anyone at this crying lake. And there was a moment of silence where they just looked at each other. No words were exchanged. They just looked at each other. He smiles at her. He says, "Excuse me. I'm sorry. Something is telling me to ask you, how are you feeling today? I don't know your name. You don't know my name. But I want to ask you, how are you feeling today?" She looks at the overwhelming look of sincerity in his eyes. And before she could say anything, her voice starts to crack. And from there, she busts out crying. No words. She just busts out crying. Something in him, some magnetic force pulls him to her. And he hugs her with all the strength in his body. And strangely, she hugs him back, as if they've known each other for the longest time. And there's just a moment, once again, where there are no words. There's just silence and a hug that she's been needing for a very long time. And she can finally cry like she's been needing to. She looks down at her own face. She sees a single tear come down her eye, her right cheek. She looks up at the sky. And all of a sudden her mind has never been so clear. Never felt so free in her life, as if all she needed that whole time was just to cry, just to be able to cry and not feel alone. And to be part of a moment that she never knew that she would ever be a part of. Here she is holding on to a man that she's never even exchanged words with. She's embracing him as if she's known him for her entire life, her entire childhood. She looks up at him. He looks back at her. She grabs his hand. She says, "Let me show you something." She turns him toward the lake. She says, "This place is very special to me. Been coming here ever since I was a kid. I call this the crying lake. It's the only place where I can cry. Ever since my cousin died, I haven't been able to for some reason. And out of nowhere, you come around. says, I have to ask you, what's your name? He says, you're going to think this is corny, but my name is Tranquility. Part 1 of The Crying Lake. To be continued.